This episode of the FTW Podcast has been brought to you by Impact Wrestling, where the big boys play. It's a Facebook group made by TNA fans for TNA fans. Join the discussion at facebook.com/groups/TNA, where the big boys play. Now, on to the show. FTW Podcast.
We are live, coming to you Thursday night. Yes, Thursday night. It's the FTW Podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. I am Harrison, and with me as always is Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
Lee. Say hello, Lee.
I love you all.
We love you too, buddy. And Garvin is manning the boards and will be joining us as well. This TNA Hardcore Justice pay-per-view special is coming to you live August 9th, 2012. And on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about Hardcore Justice and the impact that recently was. First up, before we get started, I want to say that we are having issues with our live chat functionality. If you do want to join in on us and let us know what you think, and we want to definitely hear what you guys have to say, hop on your Twitter machine and use hashtag FTW Live. We'll be watching that all night, and we'll bring you guys in. If you're new to the show, check out ftwpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved. As well, tonight's show, as well as upcoming shows, you can reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, voicemail, text message, and email. Apparently not the live chat right now, though. All those links and information are listed there, so check it out, ftwpodcast.com right now. But first, we're going to kind of go over the impact that was today, but not really review it, kind of discuss what we think about it heading into Hardcore Justice. And the reason why is because we're going to talk about Impact on Tuesday. Guys, I mean, we were discussing it in the pre-show, and the one thing that we seemed to really be debating was whether or not this was a good Impact with or without the context of a pay-per-view in 3 days. And personally, for me, I thought it was an amazing show if Hardcore Justice was not this Sunday, but next Sunday. It just didn't feel like a really good go-home show.
Yeah, it wasn't a good go-home show. It just wasn't, because there was not enough done to push the pay-per-view. It was like Bound for Glory, which is fair enough, came before, like Hardcore Justice, which in a way is not good, because that means, no one, it just feels like you can miss, this Sunday and then keep watching next week. But of course it does prompt up the Bound for Glory itself. But for me, I thought it was, get rid of all the Hardcore Justices this Sunday. It was still only okay. There was one great match between Angle and Styles, but for me, it wasn't that great.
Okay. Rob, do you agree or disagree?
Well, they didn't do a very good job of pushing Hardcore Justice aside from the table, or the hardcore matches, for the BFG series that are worth 20 points each. But the problem with that is, your pushing of Hardcore Justice gets buried onto the fact that you're pushing, Bound for Glory again. And we did some quick research. Lee was good enough to look up, Ticketmaster, and it looks like tickets are going pretty quickly for Bound for Glory. So I've got to say, Lee's got a point in the fact that with all of the pushing they're doing for Bound for Glory, tickets seem to be moving for that pretty quickly. And as we've noted in the past, other live pay-per-view events, TNA seems to have trouble selling tickets. So maybe they should start pushing pay-per-views a little bit better.
Okay, Garv, what do you think?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a complete wash. I mean, there was a few good things that took place tonight, but to say that they really didn't build up the pay-per-view at all, I think, is missing, a lot of segments that did happen. I mean, they did build up the Knockouts Championship match, at least, to build more tension, along with the whole Earl Hebner, Madison Rayne thing. We also, outside of the Bound for Glory series, they also had the Bobby Roode and Aries contract signing. So there might not have been a whole lot of mention of the word Hardcore Justice in promotion of that, but they did still promote the matches that were going to happen.
Yeah, Madison Rayne planning a kiss on Earl Hebner. I mean, the fact that Earl Hebner got a kiss from Madison Rayne like that just proves there is no karma or justice in the universe.
Just for the record, Garvin, if you're counting that as build up to a pay-per-view, if you think I'm going to spend $40 just because they kissed, you are in another world.
I'm
Well,
with
that's the
Lee
thing.
on that one,
Well,
Garv.
here's the
Sorry,
thing.
man.
Here's the thing. You guys are saying the same thing. Up here, chat's back up, so that's great. We got some people saying that great impact, but subpar go home show. They barely sold a pay per view. Another one said, I really couldn't tell. It's a go home show, but it's a good overall show, including Aces and Eights going to attack Bobby Ray. See, the problem I have with this is Hardcore Justice. Just because of the Bound for Glory series, it's 3 out of the 7 matches are Bound for Glory. I mean, it's going to be hard to promote Hardcore Justice as a pay per view when 3 of your matches concern another pay per view coming on down the line. And those are 3 huge matches. It's not like X Division or anything like that when they're ramping that up or anything like that. It's the Bound for Glory series is a big deal and it's dominating this pay per view, and it's not Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
so it's kind of one of those things where it's like I can kind of give TNA a pass for not really pumping up Hardcore Justice, but not. I expected more really tonight.
well, first of all, Bobby Ray is my favorite wrestler. Harrison. Who the hell is Bobby Ray?
Who the hell is Bobby Ray?
Second, no, I'm not saying personally that I thought they built it up well. I'm just saying there was build up.
Yeah, there was build-up, but I think the big difference that we see between TNA and the WWE is that the WWE will try to convince you that every pay-per-view, even their worthless pay-per-views, every pay-per-view is like the pay-per-view event of the fucking century. You have to see this or you're gonna die. TNA tends to realize, okay, this is a down cycle pay-per-view. This isn't one of our major pay-per-views. We can focus more on pushing storylines. We can focus more on some of the other stuff that we've got going. And I kind of like that about TNA. I'm not saying it as a negative thing. I kind of like the fact that TNA realizes, okay, these are the major pay-per-views that we have to push. And the major pay-per-views, they do a pretty good job of pushing. Slammiversary, Bound for Glory, some of the other bigger pay-per-views that they have. TNA does a very good job of pushing those. I've got no problem with the current setup that TNA uses with them saying, okay, well, this is a down cycle pay-per-view. Let's focus on pushing other things and building up other things.
Yeah, Chat's saying that Hardcore Justice and No Surrender is kind of like Road to Bound for Glory, just with the series. I mean, what if they did that? What if they kind of changed gears on it, and instead of having the 2 pay-per-views be like Hardcore Justice and No Surrender with like these no-nonsense monikers that don't mean anything, if they just made it to where these were the 2 big humps in the setup for the Bound for Glory series. Because let's face it, with the Bound for Glory series matches at Hardcore Justice this Sunday, with 3 of these guys are walking away with 20 points. So if they make it like you have these 2 like islands in the road for Bound for Glory, and then once we get to these 2 hits, something huge is going to happen to the tournament. Do you think that would help? Or do you think that what they're doing now, like Rob's saying, is like, well, it's a down pay-per-view. TNA knows what product they're dealing with here, and they're not going to devote too much attention to it. I mean, Garv, Lee, what do you think about that?
I tend to think you'd make more money if you did kind of like the road for Bound for Glory, because the problem you have with what Rob said is that if you carry on the storylines and kind of think, well, it's not really a big pay-per-view, is at the end of the day, I know it's a massive difference comparison, but at least WWE pushes every pay-per-view, but in the end of the day, it's money. You know what I mean? Like, then with them not pushing it a lot, it gives off a sense of, oh well, don't really care. No one will buy it. Whereas WWE, even if it could be the crappiest lineup ever, as long as they push it a little bit, they will get, 100, 150,000, 200,000 buys, which at the end of the day is a lot of money still. It's a completely different market, but the way that they actually push every pay-per-view like it is the end of the world makes money.
Yes and no. I mean, it works, but at the same point in time, no matter how hard you push it or how hard you don't push it, both WWE and TNA have their core fans who are going to buy every pay-per-view no matter what, whether they push it or not. And both companies realize this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Harrison's and the live chat suggestion is another alternative too, rather than just doing what they're doing right now. Following the WWE moniker with the Road to WrestleMania and say, okay, we're going to have the Road to Bound for Glory. That could work for TNA too, and that could help bring in just a little bit more money from the people who need encouragement to drop $40 or $50 for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think the other thing with that as well is that the way they presented Impact suggests that the four-way tables match will go on last because of the whole Bully Ray thing. That took the main event slot, if you like, and whereas TNA World Title took a bit of a back seat towards the end. Maybe if you did the Road for Bound for Glory series, you could have that four-way tables match as your main event as such, just to justify what they've been doing. Putting that slot in the main event, building up Bound for Glory. It would make more sense.
See, I would say that if for the four-way tables match, if they're doing this thing that we're all kind of like kicking around here, if they were doing that, if it was the top 4 people in the standings. At that like in the first pay-per-view, it's top 4 people in the standings, four-way tables match, 20 points to the victor. And then the second time they do it, which would be No Surrender, would be a similar situation. Top 4 people, 20 points to the victor. So going into that, you're going to see the 4 top people in the tournament each time, and there's going to be something massive that's going to shake up the standings in some form. Chad's also saying, well, at least they're making the Bound for Glory series matches a Hardcore Justice hardcore matches, which is true. It is fitting with the Hardcore Justice kind of umbrella, which is good. The only problem I have, Rob, with your idea that TNA is kind of going, well, we know what we got here, that doesn't matter. The fact is, if they're running the pay-per-view that entire time, Spike is not giving them ad money. So they have to make that money back to keep the lights going, pay the crews, pay the wrestlers. You want to plug the hell out of it. You want to be like, this is going to be the most amazing thing in the world, and everyone's going to get blowjobs. It's going to be awesome.
I'm sure that makes your night, but for some people,
But my point is,
nope. Pump the brakes on the show. Lee, are you telling me that blowjobs aren't a great way to spend a Sunday evening?
Before you even say, he would like that comment.
Before you even say the shot drink, I'm not talking about the shot drink.
Like, okay, I put my $40 on the TV. I'm ready to watch this pay-per-view, and the TNA's like, you know what? That's a great, buddy. We really appreciate it. Here's a Hummer. You're telling me that's not that wouldn't be a good. That wouldn't be like an entertaining.
Depends on who's giving the blowjob.
Yeah. I mean, are we talking like Winter, Rosita, or are we talking ODB?
Doing anything?
Oh, man.
It would be for whoever gender you are the most attracted to.
It'd be like one of those bloody kind of, you just get like a mini slot machine just to decide who you get. Like you got the Wilds to be someone like Miss Testmaster. You get bloody RVD if it's going to be Madison Rain. And then you get someone really crap like Robbie if it's going to be ODB.
Yeah, I'm actually going to say I'm not liking this idea because the live chat just said that Claire is giving the blowjobs, and I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I do want to say this, though, about Claire. She's there week in, week out in the audience. I think it's very clear that AJ Styles should not have to pay for anything with that baby. If she has enough money to buy Universal Studios tickets every week, she doesn't need any cash from him.
What do you mean buy Universal tickets? They'll just let her in by the back door.
Dude, she's in the audience every week. I mean, how could she possibly go, you're paying for this baby? It's like, woman, those tickets are $60 at the door. You're in here every week. That's $240 a month just to come in here and bother me.
She'll just claim it back via her expenses.
Yeah.
She's bothering him at work. It's not like he lives there. Although that'd be great if, like, next week the segment on Impact.
She bothers me at work. What the hell do I get from it?
Anyway. All right, so the Hardcore Justice. Let's actually talk about the pay-per-view this Sunday. Here we go. I got to be honest with as little build as it's had going into this match or into this pay-per-view. This looks like it's going to be a fantastic pay-per-view. We got Chavo Guerrero coming back. First pay-per-view appearance for TNA. Zema Ion and Kenny King, both guys on a tear. The four-way matches for Bound for Glory series, these are going to be spectacular. Austin Aries and Bobby Roode, that's going to be money all around. Tessmacher and Madison Rain. I'm kind of seeing where this will go because Tessmacher and Gail Kim, that match tonight didn't look very good, but I think that's mostly because of Gail Kim. She didn't look very, I don't know, she didn't look comfortable, so... but yeah, I mean, just running down the card. This looks. I'm sorry.
Gail Kim looked like we saw too often from her in the WWE. It looked like she knew she was going to lose, and so she didn't put forward full effort.
Yeah, and she tried like these weird, like I'll never, like there was this one point when Tessmacher was on the mat, and Gail goes to kick her, and like halfway through the kick, she decided not to do it, so she kind of stopped, but it still hit Tessmacher, and like there's this beat where Tessmacher, you can almost hear in her head, just go, "The hell was that?" And she kind of just like rolls onto her back. It was like this awkward botch, and it was, yeah, it definitely seemed like she was kind of.
Didn't Tessmacher botch a finish?
No, it was. I don't think so. Did she? What was it? It's the
Her old finisher, yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't think she.
thought she botched it.
It's been a while since we've seen it, though.
It's been, yeah, to be fair.
I don't know. It was kind of hard to tell whether or not it was a botch. I mean, from the position I saw in it, it could it almost looked like Gail Kim had hit an offensive move on Brooke Tessmacher, and then she gets the win. I'm like, okay, I guess that works. But it definitely wasn't. I don't think either one of the women had their best match tonight.
No,
they
not
both
really.
they both seemed a bit off.
Yeah. It just seemed kind of weird. So that's why I'm looking at this knockouts match. It's kind of like, well, cautiously optimistic. Tessmacher is pretty good. Madison Rain's pretty good. You know, I mean, maybe just Tessmacher was just having a bad night. Although it does seem like when Tessmacher is running into a pay-per-view, if she's wrestling twice within the span of about a week, if she has one bad match, the other one's really good. So if she has like a good match on Impact, the one at the pay-per-view isn't that great. I mean, it seems like she can't really, I don't want to say like consistency. I think she has a problem with that.
Yeah, but my issue with that match on Sunday is, you know, they were building up Madison Rain and the Earl Hebner thing earlier.
Yeah.
Why did they build up that tension? Surely TNA can just go, okay, we'll just put your son on that match. Or am I losing the plot? They can just have a different referee.
Yeah, it's weird that they don't have someone else step in.
But the point is, Earl Hebner is the senior referee, i.e., he decides who referees what matches.
Yes, but then there's a boss above Earl Hebner.
You would think that, you know, Dixie Carter or Sting or somebody would say, no, Earl, you're not going to get this match. But apparently, they're content to let the referees do their own thing.
Or Brooke Hogan.
Yeah, this is coming from the woman.
Go? She was supposed to be like the overseer.
She ran home after she got the dead man's hand.
Yeah, that I'm getting really disappointed with what they're doing with Brooke Hogan coming in this, because I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt going into this. You know, when she came in, she had everything going for her, and then she comes on, and it just seems like this slow, gradual, just loss of momentum. You know,
what momentum did she have?
Well, I mean, just going into it, you know, I mean, she has the name Brooke Hogan, like her or hate it, you know, her name carries weight. She comes into this Impact, she comes into the Knockouts division, and I don't know, it just feels like they had an opportunity there to do something with it, and they haven't done it. It's not that they missed it or screwed it up, they just didn't do anything.
Yeah, but when her name came into like the wrestling world itself, the negative context already came along with her name.
So what?
So that was kind of like putting it against her to kick off with. So the fact that I've done nothing with her now just gives more justification that she isn't needed.
Rob, not necessarily. I mean, most of the quote unquote negative remarks against her were fans who would have bitched no matter who was put in. You could have picked. I mean, no matter who you picked, people would have bitched and moaned. And that's where a lot of the negative comments about Brooke Hogan came from. But she actually was getting on a roll for a little bit. They were pushing the knockouts. You saw stuff like Velvet Sky appearing in country music videos. They were advertising other things. They were starting to use Brooke Hogan correctly, and then this whole Aces and Eights storyline came along and just shot that all to hell.
Yeah, it just feels like, and Rob, you and I were talking about when Brooke Hogan first came in that, you know, they just, her intro was mishandled. She should have came out in she should have looked like AJ when she came out.
Right, she should have looked more professional.
Exactly. AJ's first day in GM was perfect as far as what AJ could have done and what they did with her. How they booked it or whatever, and the booking for the night, I don't give a shit. But everything surrounding AJ was exactly what they needed to do. And that's what TNA needed to do with Brooke Hogan. She needed to come out, professional demeanor, very, I'm corporate, I'm here to do the job, and I'm not here to promote myself, I'm here to promote the knockouts, corporate speak, blah, 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 and then be done. And then all that negative crap that they're going to throw at her, it just fizzles because every single thing they threw at her, she ended up doing anyway. She came out in that dress. She didn't look like she knew what she was doing. I mean,
she acted more like a fangirl than she did the boss.
Exactly. Everybody was saying she didn't know anything, and she kind of came off that way. Whether or not she does is immaterial. It's the appearance of what she had that first night, and TNA kind of lost some initiative with that. And
but as far as how she was dressed, I mean, we had the same complaint when Sting was named GM. He never dressed for the part. When Hogan was GM, he was never dressed the part.
But
it's like for some reason they keep failing in that.
But the difference there is that both Sting and Hogan are former professional wrestlers who have spent the better part of their lives in the business. It's a known fact that they know how professional wrestling works. Nobody can really question their qualifications.
Was that cough intended?
What was that?
Was the cough intended?
No. The cough was. The cough.
I thought you were just going to go like professional wrestlers.
No. No. Nobody could really question their qualifications. Brooke Hogan, on the other hand, she's Hulk Hogan's daughter. She's been brought up in the business, but there have been tons of examples of people who were quote unquote brought up in the business that know shit about professional wrestling.
See, I think, Rob, you're exactly right. And I think really we shied on TNA a lot, at least before, about using WCW storylines for basically their creative department is nothing but a Xerox machine. But when it came to Brooke Hogan coming to TNA, grab Shane McMahon and a piece of tracing paper, because that is exactly what you needed to do. And
or Stephanie McMahon, too. She had her moments.
Either one.
Stephanie showed that she knows how to run things and get things done.
Exactly. And just grab a piece of tracing paper. And you know what? At that point, all you're doing is just get through the first 2 months, maybe 3, and then do whatever the hell you want with it. But if you want to grab, especially with all that negative attention going into it, you got to grab it by the scruff of the neck, and you got to just shoot that storyline in the face. But anyway, so the Hardcore Justice pay-per-view, it's coming up on Sunday.
Before we get sidetracked.
Yeah, before we get sidetracked again. So Chavo Guerrero, he's going to win. But no real build-up, again, for this thing. But the match itself, Chavo, Hernandez, Gunner, Kid Cash, anything you guys want to talk about with this one, other than this should be really a pretty good match?
I think there's been about as much build-up as they could give it. I mean, as soon as Chavo debuted, you had Gunner and Kid Cash in his face. Tenay and Taz made reference to the fact that Chavo Guerrero and Kid Cash have had a rivalry in the business for years. So they built it up about as well as they could. Not as much build-up as some of the other matches, but this should be a good match. And like you, I don't see how Chavo Guerrero loses in his pay-per-view debut.
If he is, that is a huge. I mean, that's that guy's company. If he decides he's willing to roll over in his first pay-per-view match,
he won't roll over. I mean, you just wouldn't. You can't lose the momentum straight away. Like 1 week in and he's lost. No way.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. But at the same time, we said the same things about Jericho, and then he came back and lost just about every match. So, I guess it just depends on what role they're going to push him in. It seems like they're going to push him in a role where he's actually going to be a contender of some sort. So, no, there's got to be no way that he loses.
Okay. The other one we got to talk about is the division title match, Zema Ion versus Kenny King. And when we're done with this, we'll go through, and if anybody wants to change their vote, they can. Kenny King versus Zema Ion. I don't know. I mean, Kenny King, relatively new, but I'm starting to think that this guy is kind of the heir apparent to Austin Aries, And not alliteration aside. I really look at Kenny King, and I'm kind of seeing those early sparks that Austin Aries had, where he comes in very comfortable, very good very good in every little thing he does. Like, he has the whole package. And I think I'm just kind of waiting now that we've had the Austin Aries kind of like blow up, where Kenny King is going to be that next guy to do it. And I mean, Rob, you with me on this one, or do you think I'm kind of reaching too far early in this guy's career?
No. From what I've seen from Kenny King so far, there's definitely he definitely has the tools that Austin Aries has. He doesn't have as much experience in the business, as far as I can tell, that Austin Aries has, but he's got a skill set that he can build on, and more importantly, he knows what he wants to do. He's got the goal, and he knows what he needs to do to get to that goal, and that's one of the most important things, regardless of the sport you're in.
Okay, Lee, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's got potential. He looks really good. He was my standout guy last month as such, but I can't see him winning or beating Zima Ryan tomorrow. I think it's way too early for that, personally. But
yeah, hands down.
But it should be a good match, and the intention should be to show off Kenny King rather than Zima Ryan, because I'm pretty much sure they'll take Zima Ryan in a completely different direction than will Kenny King.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Kenny King a lot, but there's one fact that tells me he is not going to win. And that is, he is still not on the Impact Wrestling roster. I don't know if you guys noticed that. So there is nothing anywhere that suggests that he is in any type of contract with TNA other than a verbal one, and I can't see them putting a title on a guy who just broke another verbal agreement while holding a title in another company. So but that's factual stuff.
That's probably the best point that's been brought up.
Yeah, that's right, because Kenny King really did fuck over our ROH to come here, to come to TNA.
I hate Honor, so I'm fine with that.
And he's not signed yet.
There's another like Kenny King.
Yeah, I like Kenny King. I think he's done great work since he came. It's way too soon to pull it off Ion. Again, we don't necessarily need that title to have a hot potato, because Ion is really doing well as champion, as that top heel in the X division. He is getting a pretty good reaction, and if they continue to build this whole story between Ion and Jesse Sorensen, he's going to need to keep the title for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Zima Ion's doing awesome, and just burning a hole in that ozone layer. No, I'm just thinking Kenny King. I'm just kind of looking, just like a year down the line. No, there's no way Zima Ion drops the title this Sunday. But I'm just thinking, I don't know. I look at Kenny King and I think like, okay, there's a reason TNA went for this guy. Knockouts title. We're kind of split on this one. Although the people, well, Garv, you say Madison Rayne. Do you really think that Madison Rayne's still going to walk out with the title?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just, I'm usually very optimistic about the Knockouts, title match at the pay-per-views, but the problem is that they've surrounded it with this whole storyline with Earl Hebner. It's hard to think that they would push it how they have, with Earl just giving her wins, to not do the same thing at the pay-per-view, because no one has really obstructed that yet. No one has really confronted Earl or management about that. You would need to do it on a higher profile stage for that storyline to really progress. That's where I see it going, at least.
I can smell a kiss ass in the word Harrison.
What? You convinced me. So I changed my vote. It was Tessmacher.
No. You're completely wrong. You have just literally defined why Tessmacher is winning. She's winning because she's just won every match up until this one. The focus is on her and Earl. It's the perfect setup for Tessmacher to win. It's perfect.
Yes, but part of my pick is also a gut thing, because I'm very good at picking off my gut, right?
Shit,
but
that's right. I should switch back.
Tessmacher hasn't been a good champion at all.
I never said she was a good champion. It's just that I still don't think she's that good in the ring. She's improved, but she's not that good, in my opinion. But I think she's got a better chance than Madison Rayne has.
Yeah, her match tonight was probably one of her best matches that I can remember.
Of recent memory, yeah.
Yeah.
Death Walker's had some. She has had some good matches, really, but it's that consistency thing. She just lacks consistency. Stop
Yeah.
it, Lee. I switched my vote. No, 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 no. You convinced me to go back. Why would you then erase my vote? What?
I don't want you on the same side as
I
me.
know
I have,
democracy means dick in England, but it matters here. This is my vote, damn it.
Um,
All
by
right.
the way, the live chat, it's kind of mixed. Some are saying what I'm saying, which is Earl is going to screw Tessmacher and give Madison the win. Others are suggesting that maybe another ref is going to come down. That was from Mr. Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
Maybe like there's some kind of bump or something. Another ref comes down and gives Tessmacher the win.
Yeah,
So.
and see that's pretty much what I'm banking on. I mean they've pushed Madison Rayne and Earl, and I'm sure Earl will try to screw over Miss Tessmacher, but at the same point in time, Tessmacher has had a few weeks to see that Earl is going to be biased towards Madison Rayne. I'm sure there's going to be some type of plan, and I still see it as being just a tad bit too early to take the title off of Tessmacher.
I hope Tara gets involved. I miss Tara.
Yeah, that could be it too. Tara comes down and just starts beating people's ass.
Yeah. Ever since Velvet left, Tara, I'm like, oh, I remember why I liked you so much. Mostly because of the motorcycle thing, but whatever. All right, Bound for Glory Series 4-way ladder match: AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels. I don't know. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking definite potential for match of the night. I don't know. I mean, I just kind of look at this and I think it's going to be a toss-up between this and the tables match.
it depends how long they give each match.
Yeah.
The ladder match is. I'm with you. It should be the match. Looking at it on paper, it should be the match of the night. But
Styles, Angles, Joe, Daniels. It's got all four talent. Like, the problem with the tables match is it's got Robbie E in it. And the problem with False Count Anywheres is that it's got Anderson in it. But this one has, well, Rob, deal with it, all right? This one, and RVD is also in the False Count Anywhere match. And let's face it, that guy, if he can go 15 minutes, well, he's got 3 other people to carry him, so he should be fine. But this one, like Lee's saying, on paper, 4 great talent ladder match should be pretty spectacular.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you a quick question here real quick, Harrison. You're taking shots at Anderson, yet you picked him to win the Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yeah, that's only because the other 3 guys, when I looked at the numbers, didn't make sense. I'm not saying Anderson won't.
No, I'm with you, Harrison, just because if you look at the other 3 guys, I wouldn't really pick any of those to win. That's exactly my fault.
Rob, I mean, I don't like peas, but if I'm stuck with 3 other vegetables I hate more, like squash or something, I'll eat the peas. that's of peas. That's just saying, well, I got to eat something. All you got is peas, so I'll eat this.
That's a wonderful justification. A wonderful justification.
Buffet. All right, I'll put the peas on a pizza for you, Lee. Will that work? And then I can eat it. Is that okay?
No, that's not normal. Sweet corn's normal. Peas aren't normal on pizza.
Sweet corn normal when it was. You found it here, and then you took it on a boat to your island, and you decided to put it on pizza. It started here.
What do you mean we? Well, what do you mean we put it on a boat and took it to you? We? Who the fuck found you? Not you.
There was no corn in England until you came over here. So you had to get off the boat. You decided to put a whole bunch of it, take it back home, and say, you know what would be great on this? We want pizza. We can put this on a pizza. And then we thought what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into syrup and put in fucking everything. And then deal with it, Lee. But we don't put it on pizza. And for the life of me, I do not understand why.
I'm sure the first thing was it Columbus that found America? I'm sure the first thing...
No, the Vikings found America.
Was it the Vikings? Sorry. I'm sure the Vikings' first thought was, fuck, that'd be an excellent pizza topping. Fucking get it over here right now. I'm sure that is the first thing they thought of when they found
years from now, we're putting this shit on it. It's going to be awesome. Red, get over here.
Viking pizza. I want to see that.
Oh, that's epic, man. It would just be a piece of bread with a ham hock on it.
It would be bits of grass in there, just to sweeten it up a little bit. It'd be, perfect.
Cannonball.
This is a great conversation, but back to the match.
Shut up,
the match. Oh, what?
I was originally choosing Christopher Daniels. I'm not sure though. This by far should be the match of the night, just because of who's involved. I mean, we love Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels. They all put on great matches. with each other. So, I
know, right?
I originally was saying Christopher Daniels just because he was a little bit lower, but I'm gonna take the bait.
Bro,
Samoa Joe came out again and said, "Hey, I'm taking over my TV time. I shouldn't have to ask for TV time. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to kick everyone's ass." And he came off as like a total badass, which we've seen before, and he never fulfilled for whatever reason, but I'm hoping this time he is. So I'm going to switch my vote to Samoa Joe.
Garvin, they can't keep hitting us with the belt. One of these days, they're gonna go for the hug, and it's gonna be a hug. They're not gonna kick us in the groin again.
This is the last time. If they don't fulfill with Samoa Joe here,
What?
yeah, I don't care about Samoa Joe anymore.
We'll see what I'm thinking. Is I think AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels are pretty much going to cancel each other out in this match because they're going to be continuing their storyline. So really it comes down to Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe in the ladder match. And in that matchup, I like Samoa Joe just a little bit over Kurt Angle.
Bits of glass and a piece of pizza. Just a Viking pizza. I just keep picturing that. Lee, what you got, buddy? What you think? You with us with Samoa Joe?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Samoa Joe because if you look at all the other competitors, you've got AJ Styles, you've got Kurt Angle, you've got Christopher Daniels, but Samoa Joe is the only guy that name begins with S for sweet corn.
No, I think, Chet's saying either Angle or Joe, and Rob, I think you nailed it on the head. AJ and Daniels are going to basically cancel each other out. Four-way tables match. This should be spectacular, but I think we're going to fall into the same thing we did earlier with the four-way ladder match, where kind of Robbie E and Jeff Hardy are going to kind of cancel each other out. James Storm, Bully Ray. I mean, I'm kind of sticking with my Bully Ray just because I don't know. I mean, after tonight with the aces and eights thing, and with Robbie E getting I got my 5 points, and then he straddles the table. How much of a coup would it be for him to get 20 points?
Yeah, I'm thinking of changing my vote because James Storm to win, it seems now less and less and less possible. I would start to favour. I'm tempted to go what you just did because it. No, actually, I'm not. I'd go Bully Ray simply because of the little end bit, the little end teaser. He wins and then he gets absolutely mauled down.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I'm seeing happening right here. Is first of all, it's a hardcore match, so even if he gets attacked mid-match by aces and eights, it doesn't disqualify the match. It doesn't end the match or whatnot. The match doesn't end until somebody goes through a table. So, and Bully Ray is a fucking expert at the tables match. So I see him winning, and then aces and eights beats the shit out of him.
See, I don't know. I'm just maybe it's the idea. Maybe it's the glass I had on my pizza earlier, but I got to go with Robbie E, man. I just think with
Robbie E wins this match, I will turn the pay-per-view off right there.
Robert E won't win the match. He won't win it.
And then I will write TNA a letter demanding my $40 back.
Okay, if he doesn't win the match, you guys have to at least agree that when it comes to having a man slam through a table, then straddling that table to mock him, Robbie E wins.
He did not slam Hardy through the table. He had his his Goomba slam him through the table.
A man was slammed through a table, and Robbie E decided to stand over him like a distance skier or something and straddle him.
And he's damn lucky Hardy didn't just kick him in the balls.
Does that not tell you though he's not going to win?
No, I think he is going to win.
He literally has just got the upper hand on the go home show, and you think he's going to win?
I'm in a good mood. Let me have this.
You must be in a good mood to it, Robbie.
I'm gonna go with Robbie E as well.
Oh my God, what is wrong with you?
I wouldn't have said this months ago, but Robbie E is totally better at that gimmick than Zack Ryder.
Okay. Hang on a minute.
Lee, you've had your moment in the spotlight. Here is my theory. Okay, so obviously, everyone's favorite going in is Bully Ray. Generally speaking, that's who the live chat wants to see. That's who everyone wants to see on Twitter. I say the same thing. I would love to see Bully Ray win. But unfortunately, you have to look at what's happening backstage. Bully Ray is having some issues negotiating his new contract. It's possible Bully Ray might not even make it in TNA through the end of the Bound for Glory series. So as long as they keep fighting about it, I don't see them pushing him. Look at what they're doing with Devon. Devon's in the same boat, and they're not. They're if they haven't put him on TV until this week, and then he's partnering with Garrett Bischoff, which is like the lowest of the low. So I like the Bully Ray pick, but I can't go with him. If James Storm wins, mathematically, that's like knocking everyone else out.
I like it. I love
Unless Samoa Joe wins, but then it's Samoa Joe and James Storm.
How about it, Rob? You with us? You with us, Rob? You gonna pick Robbie E? Think about it, buddy. Contract negotiations not going very well. James Storm will become a lock. Jeff Hardy.
Bully Ray is out every week, and TNA gets a lot of their young talent from the school that the Dudleys are running. They will find a way. And Bully Ray is one of the top heels in the company right now. TNA will find a way to make Bully Ray happy.
Yeah, well, no one's arguing that, Rob. But I mean, even look at Bully Ray. He went on his Twitter machine today said, and basically was asking his followers whether or not he should stay in TNA or go elsewhere. So I mean, it's not definite that they'll sign him. They might want to keep him there. They're also trying to do the same thing with Velvet Sky, and we haven't seen any movement there.
Because we've never seen wrestlers pretend that they're going to leave a company as part of a work before. That's never happened in the history of professional wrestling.
I know. But
I'm sticking with Bully Ray.
All right, fine. Lee, come on, buddy. Come on.
Come what?
Oh, come on. The case that Garvin and I laid out there for you. With the Philly wigs and everything that you have in your Justice reason.
If Robbie E loses on Sunday, I want an apology from you two on air that you are wrestling fans to vote for Robbie E to win a tables match.
I'm with Lee on that.
I demand an apology.
No, here's the problem with that. One, my ego won't let me apologize for anything, and neither will Garvin's beard.
Well, I gotta be honest. I would apologize, but Harrison won't let me on the air.
Oh, trust me. Harrison will let you on the air next week. Trust me.
What the hell was that?
Lee and I will take over the show talking about the history of Vikings and the British settling the U.S. if we have to.
And then I'll tell you what. And if you win, then I will do we'll do a personal podcast of an hour with Robbie's history. When he was born, how he grew up, what TV he's been in. What kind of money he makes, what fake tan he wears.
If Robbie E wins, Lee, we are going to do a 10-minute segment on the show where you will repeatedly say Harrison and Garvin are awesome in an American accent over and over.
In American accent.
Until you get it right.
It can happen. It won't happen.
It will happen because if there's yeah, okay. Boys, come on anywhere. Falls Count Anywhere match, Magnus, Mr. Anderson, RVD, Pope. I'm going with my P's pick with Mr. Anderson. Garvin, you're taking Pope. Lee and Rob are with me with Mr. Anderson. No one's picking RVD or Magnus on this one. I think that's a fair choice. Garv, you're happy with Pope?
Well, this was my pick on Tuesday, and I'm actually not sure about it because it was advertised that today's match was supposed to be Pope versus RVD, and then they just moved Pope to just a backstage segment. So it kind of felt weird that they would
and a shitty backstage segment at that.
Because if you go to ImpactWrestling.com right now and go to the preview page for tonight's show, it still has Pope on that graphic. So I'm not sure what happened there. I would like to see Pope do well. Honestly, I don't like anyone else in this match. I think this is going to be the worst match of the night. Magnus is okay. I like Magnus, I guess. But Anderson always sucks. RVD is pretty awful. So I'm gonna stick with Pope, yeah.
Here's the thing, Garv. I'm kind of with you on that one, only because it does feel like maybe Pope's injured or something, or something. Because RVD did have a match tonight, and you're right, Pope didn't. So you gotta kind of look at that and wonder maybe they're kind of seeing if Pope's gonna be up for it, and then someday if he's not, they're gonna swap him out with somebody else possibly. But I mean, there's no one else left in the series, so I don't know who they'd use. But yeah, I can understand that. So you're sticking with Pope, or you're gonna go with Rob and I on Anderson because Lee just jumped ship to the Pope. Oh, Lee.
I am cautiously sticking with the Pope.
Okay. Lee, et tu, Brute?
Well. I was thinking, I was with you, that Mr. Anderson, he's the only one who really can win this match. But then I look at the table, and if Mr. Anderson won, he would go from 40 to like 60 points. He'd be right up there, and I don't want him to win the series.
I don't.
And it's just like, and if you look at RVD's only got 28 points. The Pope's only got 7 points. If the Pope won, effectively, it'd be safe. So on that reason alone, I'm going to go with the Pope.
Chat saying that might go for Pope is somehow he might make a comeback if you add on house shows. Yeah, it's true because the house shows do count for the About the Glory series, so that might happen. And regarding our Robbie E debate, the winner picks the toppings on the loser's pizza. No.
That would be brilliant because it's just perfect.
No. Chat's also saying picking Magnus, not sure why, but I do. I think I'm kind of with the chat on that one, because Magnus tonight, I mean, he wasn't spectacular, but it was kind of like, Magnus is one of those guys where you look at him and you go, you really should be better than you are.
Okay, well, pick Magnus then.
Right? No.
Magnus is, I mean, I look at Magnus and the first thought that comes through in my head is, you're a British wrestler. You should be better than you are.
Exactly.
I mean,
for that reason.
I agree with it.
I mean, say what you want about European wrestlers as a whole, but England in particular and Great Britain in general produces very technically skilled, very good wrestlers, and Magnus seems to be the exception to that.
Well, and it's weird. I mean, it's not that he's awful in the ring. I mean, he is okay. He's better than Crimson, at least. And
anybody's better than Crimson.
So he's got the look. He's got average wrestling skills. He's pretty sweet on the mic. It's strange that he is in the position that he is, where we're not even sure, what they're doing with him.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. Rob, you got a really good point. I mean, Magnus. I mean, when you have a professional wrestler, you want him to have an accent because then you know he's going to be good. So Magnus is one of those guys where it's like, yeah, he really should be better than he is. And Garvey, absolutely right. The guy is magic on the mic, but for whatever reason, he just doesn't seem that great in the ring. So it's like, I mean, I'm afraid he's going to fall into the William Regal kind of morass where.
William Regal is 100 times better than Magnus will ever be, though.
You got there before I could.
Yeah, but he never really got a chance. I mean, he was good in the ring to us, but to like the average wrestling fan when he had guys in there like The Rock, and I mean, he was good at a time when being technically proficient as a wrestler wasn't getting you ahead. And I feel like Magnus is kind of in that same situation where he's just not as good as his peers, and or he's not getting over in the ring as much as his peers, and he's kind of falling behind for that reason. He's still great on the mic. He's still got talent. He's got the drive, and he has the ambition, I'm assuming, but he's just not as good as everyone around him. He's not even the best guy in this match. And there's Mr. Anderson and RVD in it. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem, yeah.
Chad's saying, I can see Magnus as a main eventer in the near future or end of the year based on his performance in the Bound for Glory series. But we've been saying Magnus is going to be main event for a while now, and he just isn't. I don't know. I mean, maybe he just needs that breakout moment. If Magnus wins, he'll be in 5th place out of the top 4. Safer pick on Pope. Yeah, that's probably fair. Although I'm still going with my Mr. Anderson because...
I'm an asshole.
Yeah, because I'm an asshole. All right, TNA World Title match. Here we are, Austin Aries versus Bobby Roode. Every single one of us picked Austin Aries to keep the title. Bobby Roode, the loser of the match does not get the rematch clause, and Lee has decided to change Joe's vote for reasons that escape me. Did he text you?
No.
Why does it change Joe's vote?
So then he doesn't win.
All right, that's fair. Everyone else?
Simple.
Chat, you okay with that? I'm assuming everyone's okay with that. That works for me. All right, so Austin Aries, this is one of those the only reason this match isn't match of the night is because we have a ladders match and a tables match in here as well.
And an X Division match.
X Division match. I mean, the X Division match, you can still, even if you grade it on a curve, this is one of those matches where singles match, it's the only non-gimmicky singles match on here besides the knockouts match, and it's going to be phenomenal. These are two amazing talents on the rise of their life right now, and it's going to be great to watch. Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm right with you. I think this is going to be an awesome match. It's going to be a contender for match of the night, which, given the gimmick matches that we have, is really saying something because it's a lot harder for just a standard singles match to live up to that. But, I mean, Austin Aries is fucking amazing, and Bobby Roode has really turned into an amazing superstar as of late. So I'm really looking forward to this match.
Absolutely. Lee, I mean, world title match, you kind of pumped for it?
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. The last one last month that we watched was brilliant, wasn't it? And I think what Garvin said, pretty much the only reason that it's not going to be the match of the night is because we've got a four-way ladder match between AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, and Daniels. So it's just like, but it will be on par. Well, it should be on par with last month, if not better. So yeah, it's a reason to look forward to it. I'm really surprised they haven't pushed it more than they have, to be honest.
No, that's fair. I mean, I feel like we've done a better job pushing it than TNA has. Well,
they listen to you.
On paper, this is a great pay-per-view. I mean, you got Chavo coming back, and you got Zema Ion, Kenny King. You got AJ, Angle, Joe, and Daniels in a ladder match. I mean, you got Bully Ray in a tables match with Jeff Hardy. James Storm's going to be in there too. He'll probably do something. Doesn't matter because Robbie E's going to win. I mean, you got Aces and Eights saying they're going to do something to Bully Ray. You got the Falls Count Anywhere match, which will be great to watch Mr. Anderson eke out a win. And then you got the world title match with Austin Aries and Bobby Roode. I mean, on paper, this is a pretty good pay-per-view. Garv, what do you think?
I agree it's a good pay-per-view. But going back to the main event, though, here's a theory that was just thrown out in the live chat. Aries retains with the help of Kenny King just to get payback on Robert Roode for, that feud that they've been building up the last couple of weeks.
I could see that because when you look at the match, and especially with the no rematch clause for the loser, it's pretty much guaranteed that Bobby Roode is going to try to cheat somehow. So I could see Kenny King running down to even the odds. I mean, Austin Aries is, he's not a beginner, and that he knows how to play the game and he knows how to take shortcuts when he needs to as well. Mm-hmm. So it should be a great matchup. And I wouldn't be surprised if
that they added today, that the loser doesn't get a rematch, doesn't get another world title shot. I mean, that's huge. But I think that totally points to Aries winning. Like, why would they push Aries so hard only to have him lose, the first real defense that he's had?
Right. The first defense total. His first title defense total, he loses it, and then he doesn't get another world title shot as long as Bobby Roode's the champion. I mean, that would be stupid. I agree with you 100%, Garvin. That stipulation pretty much guarantees that Aries is going to win.
Yeah. If they want to end the pay-per-view with a lot of angry fans, they'll put the title back on Roode. But I think Roode chasing the title as this angry guy, I think is a lot more interesting and entertaining than seeing Austin Aries get lost in the mix because he can't fight for the world title again.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the best promo that Roode has delivered to date was when he came out after losing the title, and he didn't say anything for like a minute. Just he's just stuttering. He's just angry. He chokes out a word and then goes silent. And Aries is just, come on, you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an amazing segment, and I agree with you, Garvin. I think Roode is much better chasing the title as like this angry, bitter former champion than it is coming out. Yeah, I'm the champion. I'm better than all of you. Screw you, people.
Okay, Lee, you were going to say something?
Yeah, another reason that it would be very, very silly for Roode to to get the win again, and which means Aries won't be allowed a shot, is because it'd be the same matches pretty much over again from what we had for the last 9 months or such. We'd be seeing the same guys go against the same people, and it's just like, oh, so that was just a one-off, and now we just got a rehash again. It'd be a bit crap, to be honest.
Okay, Garv, you got a point?
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing to, remember is this is wrestling, and they will find a way to get the title back on Aries if he does lose it. I mean, I think it would be an awful way to end the pay-per-view, but I mean, there's no way if Aries lost that he would be banned from getting another shot. They would find a way.
Yeah, it's this thing because Aries versus Rude has been the feud has been going on so great, and however this goes down on Sunday, this is going to be a bucket of cold water on it, and I don't know how it's going to happen. The only thing I can think of is that if Austin Aries loses or Bobby Roode loses, you make it a three-way thing, and then that kind of gets around that stipulation, doesn't it? I mean, then you have, I mean, this where we start to bring Storm and Rude back together? I mean, we got the Bound for Glory series match coming up. I don't know. I just think that if they're doing this, TNA, I don't want to say is rolling the dice, but TNA, this is going to be an important point, what they did. So it's going to be interesting, not so much to see what happens Sunday, but what happens for the next few weeks going on, because having a no rematch clause, they have something planned. They got an ace in the sleeve for that, for a reason to be able to play that. So I'm kind of interested to see where it's going to go as we start to actually get to Bound for Glory, the pay-per-view itself. Or maybe even no reservations, whatever the hell that pay-per-view is that's in between it. All right, anything else, guys? I mean, it's a solid card. You guys looking forward to it? Anything you want to bring up? Rob, Lee?
No, I'm good.
That's fine. Hey, you know what? We talk a lot. We don't always have to. Gonna be an awesome pay-per-view, and it's gonna be great to talk about it on Tuesday. Everybody, once again, fantastic. Thank you so much, live chat, for sticking around with us. It was great. Hope to see you guys on Tuesday. And that's it. That is the show. As you can tell, we're just four yahoos that like to do this in our spare time. We don't charge for it like some do or some would like to do. But we do work really, really hard to make sure that we do this for you guys and that we do quality work. We're not asking you to send us money, but if you want to support us, you can head to ftwpodcast.com. There's a support tab. You can donate to us, which would be great. You can buy a shirt, which would be awesome too. If you really want to support us and you don't want to give us money, definitely check out the links there to rate us on iTunes. A little 5-star would be great. Stitcher, subscribe to us on YouTube, and view and like our videos. Pass the word around, tell your friends, retweet, like our page, spread it, annoy your friends with how great we are. Spread the word and help us get spread the word and help you get through the week that was in professional wrestling. Thank you once again, everyone in the live chat. You guys are the hive mind, and you're the reason why I love doing this show. We record every FTW podcast episode on Tuesdays at 8 p.m., and because Lee's here, I have to say this, 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time at FTWLive.com. Great show, great impact, guys. Pay-per-view is going to be awesome. We'll see you Tuesday.